Listening test instructions. The listening test is about 50 minutes. There are 6 parts in the listening test. You will have about 6 minutes to listen to each passage and answer the questions. The passage will be played once. Left-click on the mouse to select your answer. Practice question. There is one practice question. Listen to a short conversation. The passage will be played once. Then listen to the question and choose the best answer.
She has almost 100 books on her bookshelf.
Listening to problem solving. You will hear a conversation in 3 sections. You will hear each section only once. After each section, you will hear 2 or 3 questions. You will hear the questions only once. Choose the best answer to each question.
Hello there. How may I help you?
Hello, my name is Marley. I was looking for a tour guide. I found about your office from the internet. I wanted to visit various traditional landmarks of the city but with someone who can explain the historical significance.
Good evening, Mr. Marley. Yes, we would be happy to be of any assistance to you. Our team comprises of experienced guides who would be happy to share details of all historical significances.
Do you have any pre-approved packages?
No, Mr. Marley, we charge by the hour. Depending on your budget, we can plan an itinerary that allows you to visit maximum number of important tourist destinations.
How much do you charge per hour, if I may ask?
Sir, our prices start from $25 per hour with an English-speaking guide. The guide would be well versed in historical significances of each visited landmark.
Question 1. What is the man looking for? Question 2. What best describes the guide's response? Question 3. What king of guide is the tourist looking for?
Okay, can you tell me how many days do you recommend if I were to check out all important tourist landmarks in the city?
Sir, we would recommend you at least 3 full days. We like our tourists to understand the history and culture of our city and landmarks for them to really know the concept behind their architecture, etc.
Yes, even I don't like to rush and would like to explore fully.
Sir, I suggest you can take our guide for 3 to 4 hours each day. That way you will be able to cover maximum destinations as well as not rush into visiting the landmarks.
This sounds like a good relaxed itinerary.
Thank you, sir.
Question 4. How many days did the guide recommend for detailed tour? Question 5. Which statement is true? Question 6. What did the tourist feel about the planned itinerary?
Can I met the guide or choose from a portfolio?
Surely, sir, you can choose from 3 of our top guides for the city who are all well versed in history. One of them is not fluent in English, so I would suggest you to opt from either of the 2 guides.
Okay, in that case either of the 2 who is free tomorrow would suit me fine.
Sure, sir.
When do we start tomorrow?
Sir, our guide would be at this office at 9 a.m. in the morning. You can come here or we can make him wait outside your hotel. Whatever of the 2 is more convenient for you.
Question 7. How many guides did the tour operator shortlist? Question 8. What does the operator say about the start point and time?
Listening to a daily life conversation. You will hear a conversation followed by 5 questions. Listen to each question. You will hear the question only once. Choose the best answer to each question. Hi there, Mrs. Grassy. How are you? I am Lucy, your new neighbor. I have just moved into the house next door.
Hey there, Lucy. Yes, I met your husband yesterday while I was out taking a walk with my husband. Good to finally meet you.
Oh, that's nice to know. He left early morning today and we haven't had the chance to discuss, else he would have told me about the conversation. Needless to say, now that we have met each other, we would have a lot more of that. The conversations, I mean.
Yes, sure, Lucy. There is nothing like having some friendly neighbors. This house was empty for far too long. Thankfully now you and your husband have opted to live in it. I hope both of you enjoy the house and the neighborhood.
Yes, Mrs. Grassy, we spent a lot of time discussing the neighborhood and liked the silent yet cozy grouping of houses. Her gives a feel of much older world cohesive housing that modern-day apartments.
Yes, Lucy, definitely our locality is lucky in that aspect. There are 10 houses in the block on each side of the road. So everyone in the neighborhood knows everyone else. We all participate in the happy times and the sad for each other, and that is what makes living here so much fun and human.
Mrs. Grassy, do we have a ladies' get-together of the neighborhood?
Oh yes, us ladies have a kitty party each month and get together in one of the ladies' houses. Why don't you come along this Sunday to the kitty party? I will introduce you to the rest of the neighborhood women. I am sure you will enjoy meeting them.
I would love to join you this Sunday then, Mrs. Grassy. What time is the party and where is the party location?
It's at 11 a.m. in the house of Mrs. Ellen down the street. Don't worry, you get ready and come to my house by 10:40 and we will walk down to her house together.
Sure, Mrs. Grassy.
Question 1. What was the conversation about? Question 2. What did Mrs. Grass admit nothing like having? Question 3. How many houses are there in the locality? Question 4. What party do the ladies have? Question 5. Where does Mrs. Grassy call the woman on Sunday?
Listening for information. You will hear a conversation followed by 6 questions. Listen to each question. You will hear the question only once. Choose the best answer to each question.
In this documentary, You give an intimate portrayal of your family, almost a love letter to them. What was their response to the process of making the film and your final product?
I think it was a chance for my family to look back and reassess how relocating to Korea affected our lives. What would have otherwise been shoved under the rug was brought back into the light. It was a process of rediscovery for me and likewise for my family. I think they found it cathartic to retell their side of the story through interviews and said they were able to learn about other family members' inner thoughts through the end product. I like to think of it as a dialogue within the family, mediated by the film. They were obviously anxious at first, but after seeing the film with an audience and witnessing their warm response, eventually came around to appreciate the film.
I understand that you have 11 different versions of your film. What influenced your choices to include or remove parts of the narrative?
The major issue was figuring out what the story was about. I initially thought it would be my sister's journey of going through single motherhood. But I came to realize that my sister's decision to become a single mom could not be severed from her painful experience of reverse migration to South Korea. I decided to expand the scope of the film to our entire family, because I could see that migrating back to our supposed home country affected all of us, one way or another. So that's how the last version of the film, the one people can see now, took its form. This choice personally felt right for me too, because I realized, in the end, this was an issue I needed to sort out as well, both as a filmmaker trying to find his own creative voice and as a person figuring out his place in this world.
In moving to South Korea as a boy, what were the most memorable, good and bad, parts of your transition?
I remember dreading the times when kids would constantly ask me to speak English whenever they found out I came from Canada. I wanted to keep a low profile and be invisible, if possible, but whenever a new school year would start, somebody would mention that I had come from Canada, and it would start all over again.
Question 1. What is the man's occupation? Question 2. From which country did the man relocate to? Question 3. According to the man, how many versions of the film were developed? Question 4. What was the initial storyline first conceived? Question 5. What did the man find tough after relocation? Question 6. What was the main motive behind the film?
Listening to a news item. You will hear a news item once. It is about 1.5 minutes long. Then 5 questions will appear. Choose the best way to complete each statement from the drop-down menu.
A study that used data from more than 130 countries concludes that eating more rice might protect against obesity. After controlling for a wide range of factors, the team found that the results remain significant. Despite this, big questions remain. Obesity in the Western world and beyond is on the rise. However, some countries are not facing the same challenge. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, 39.8% of people in the United States now have obesity. In Japan, however, the figure is just 4.3%, say the World Health Organization, WHO. The array of factors that could be involved in differences such as this are dizzying, so where would one begin? According to one group of researchers, a good place to start might be rice. The average food intake of someone in the United States is very different to that of someone in any country outside of the Western world. However, diets in some of the countries with low obesity rates share a common staple, rice. Researchers from Doshisha Women's College of Liberal Arts in Kyoto, Japan, decided to take a closer look. They recently presented their findings at the European Congress on Obesity Eco 2019 in Glasgow, United Kingdom. To investigate, the scientists took data from 136 countries. They found that countries where people ate an average of at least 150 grams of rice per day had significantly lower rates of obesity than countries where people ate less than the global average amount of rice, around 14 grams per day. The researchers attempted to take into account as many confounding variables as they could, including average education level, smoking rates, total calories consumed, money spent on healthcare, percentage of the population over 65, and gross domestic product per capita. All of these variables were significantly lower in the countries whose residents ate the most rice. However, even after accounting for this in their analysis, the researchers found that the positive influence of rice over obesity persisted. From their data, they estimate that an increase of just 1/4 of a cup of rice per day, 50 grams per person, could reduce global obesity by 1%. That equates to a change from 650 million to 643.5 million adults.
Listening to a discussion. You will watch a 2-minute video. Then 8 questions will appear. Choose the best way to answer each question.
Hello Henry. How are you? You don't look too good. Hope all is good with you.
Hello Mark. I am fine. A little disappointed. My work visa has been getting postponed. I was looking to travel overseas for a better career. I will need to wait for some more time now.
Yes, the political situation is such that the authorities are very reluctant in giving a go-ahead for people to go and work overseas. They rightly or wrongly feel that once you go outside to earn, there will be no tax coming into their coffers. This is actually a wrong precedent for a government short on both funds and popularity.
True that, my friend. It is people like us who have to suffer and find out different ways to bypass the challenge. The government and its officials live a comforting life and do not even have to worry about their salary and finances.
You know, Henry, even in my office, I have seen many colleagues all accepting jobs overseas and even ready to take a pay cut. It seems like it's a situation where no one wants to live in the country anymore.
Mark, it's not getting any safer as well. With the money shortage, crime will be the next thing that will be on the rise. I suggest you should also look at options, or at least start looking at them from now on.
Yes, but I love my country and can't think of leaving it.
Don't get me wrong, we all love our motherland, but sometimes for the better future of our children, moving to some other land is what destiny has in store. Of course, if things get better, we might cancel our plans to go or come back if we are already out by then.
Yes, I hope the best case scenario happens and happens quickly.
Amen.
Listening for viewpoints. You will hear a report once. It is about 3 minutes long. Then 6 questions will appear. Choose the best way to answer each question from the drop-down menu.
Summers are here and most of us look for an icy relief whenever we step out, and mostly we look for the easiest resort to this by indulging in the delicious ice cubes either as a part of a drink or popsicle. A couple of ice cubes in your drink is no big deal, and if you indulge in eating an ice cube once in a blue moon, that is fine too. Although for some, eating ice is a low-key addiction. If you love eating shaved ice, crushed ice, or just chewing up on an ice cube, you are in for a surprise. You might believe that since ice is just water, how bad can it be? We have some bad news for you. Eating ice has several underlying issues and may cause more if you continue with the habit. Recent studies have shown that it can cause various health issues and is an indication of an underlying medical condition. The compulsive need to eat ice is known as pagophagia. Since it's caused due to underlying illnesses, treating them should also get rid of the eating disorder. Check out these few health issues that may occur if you're in the habit of eating ice. This habit might be due to pica, which is an eating disorder, and eating ice, pagophagia, is a variant of this disorder. Pica is described as the uncontrollable need to eat items that do not come under the food list conventionally. It's mostly the things that have no nutritional value like dirt, chalk, hair, etc. Eating ice is really not good for your health. Other than damaging your oral health, or being a coping mechanism, it does not provide any nutritional value. Although, for pregnant women, there is an exception. Not ice cubes, but ice chips can help relieve morning sickness, nausea, overheating and heartburn, which are common pregnancy symptoms. So, if you want a chilled relief from the summer sun, opt for indulging in ice cubes or just drink a cold glass of water. If you can't seem to shake off your need to eat ice, consult a doctor.